Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As you guys know, I don't even care what time it is. I'm just super excited that you've taken the time out of your very busy lives to tune into today's episode. My name is Muriel Ndimande and welcome to the 5th episode of my YouTube channel. Now, before we even get started, I know it's been over a month since my last episode, and I guess with the title of today's show, you guys realize that it's gonna get a bit deep today, and that's also probably why I've been away or I disappeared for a while, because I really just wanted to take care of my mental health. So before we even go any further, the most important part of this, just want to say thank you so much to my loyal subscribers. Thank you to the people that have been commenting. Thank you to the people that have been asking me on the social streets, what's again, what's happening, we waiting. That has really been very inspiring, more than you can actually even imagine. I just want to say, if you're watching this for the first time, welcome to the Muriel Ndimande family. Please don't forget to click on that subscribe button, also the notification button, so that you actually get notified when I do film and put something out there for you guys. So yeah, want to really apologize though, like on a very serious note. I do want to apologize, but then at the same time I don't owe you guys an apology. I'm joking, but I do want to apologize that it's taken me literally over a month for me to come out and film, for me to have the strength to film and put something out there for you guys. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for your words of encouragement. Like, it's so crazy how people that I don't know are the ones that are like super, like they are the ones that push me the most. They are the ones that are on my socials like, hey babe, like I'm just waiting for your next episode, like I'm just patiently waiting. And that is like the most inspiring and uplifting thing ever. So I'm just gonna start this episode off with a quick disclaimer. So I think this is my 5th time trying to film this, and I realized that I'm actually super anxious, and I'm super nervous as I'm filming this. I'm nervous and anxious because this is a very sensitive topic for me, and I'm going to be sharing something that is quite personal and something that I don't usually talk about. So please be kind to me and please be gentle with me. And I'm very nervous about how you guys are going to receive everything that I'm going to be putting out here today, mainly because I don't want this to end up being a pity party. I don't want people to pity me. I don't want people to now try and treat me differently. I don't want people to act differently around me. I definitely not trying to get judged, but people judge me anyway. So I mean, let's go, let's go. But this is a very sensitive topic for me. This is a very taboo topic for the world, the Black community especially. And what I'm actually trying to do by this is create an awareness, and it just so happens that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I guess that's probably maybe why as well God was like, no, don't film this and put this out in April, because it might have a bigger impact now that people, like, I know that mental health lately has been on a lot of people's mouths, from the passing of Anele Dembe to everything that's just happening on the social streets these days. So maybe that's why I just didn't have enough strength, guys. I've just been going through the most. So yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do is create awareness. I'm hoping that by me sharing my story, someone out there is going to realize that they're not alone. I'm hoping that because I'm also going to share my coping mechanisms, and I'm hoping that somebody's going to be able to learn from that and maybe use a few of those things and actually get help from it. And I'm really just trying to educate our Black community. In all honesty, I'm just trying to educate our Black community. So as I've already mentioned, today's topic is mental health. Mental health specifically when it comes to the Black community. Because for a very long time, I used to think that it was the older generation, like Abazal Betu, that didn't actually quite grasp or understand the concept of psychological illnesses and the importance of mental health. But the more time I spend with people, and the more I'm exposed to different people and people of different socioeconomic economies, I then realize that no, it's actually not an older generation issue, but it's an issue that is going on, and it's still going, and it's still persisting amongst our black people. So yeah, where do I even start? Sorry guys, I'm gonna be making a bit, I'm gonna make reference, I'm gonna use my phone as well, making reference to a few things that I've noted and jotted down, because I don't want to go off topic. We all know that I have a problem with going off topic when I start speaking, so I want to keep this as short as I possibly can, so I don't lose or people don't lose interest, and I don't lose like what I'm trying to accomplish from this, basically. So where do I even start? Let's talk about how mental health is so taboo in our black homes that we try so hard to shy away from it. Like, we're even scared to use the words depression, we're even scared to use the words anxiety. I think actually let's start there. I have recently noticed that when we talk about psychological illnesses, people usually just always jump to depression, and I'm not sure whether it's because people don't know and understand that there's so many different types of psychological illnesses. Yes, they do similar when it comes. They are similar. They are similar when it comes to our symptoms and our signs, but they are completely different things. So yeah, I'll just start with telling my story and just give you insights about when I actually got to understand, and took the time and the liberty of actually going and doing more research about this so that I could understand myself better, because for a very long time I thought something was like completely off with me, and it's very hard to be going through something and because you don't know what you need to do for you to be able to move past it, what you need to do for you to be able to overcome it, but you know what something's wrong and you just can't pinpoint wrong. So for me, it was exactly 10 years ago. I was in grade 11. Wow, I was in grade 11 10 years ago. Fuck, I'm old. I was in grade 11, and I had a few episodes where my body would just fail me and I would just pass out. Like, literally my body would fail me, and on an average day where I think everything was going fine, I would literally just collapse. So this one time it happened in school. So during that time where this happened, it was the first year that my parents had gotten separated. So this happened I think 3 times, and then the last time it happened while I was at school during assembly. I don't want to relive that. And I just passed out. Like, I literally just passed out, and when I woke up in hospital, I think that was like the most traumatic thing for me, because when I woke up in hospital, I had lost feeling on one side of my body, like a mini stroke, basically. Like, I had lost complete feeling on one side of my body, because I remember when the doctor kept putting things under my foot, asking me if I could feel that. He was pinching my hand, and I couldn't feel anything. Like, when I think about it now, it must have been funny for whoever was watching, because I was crying, but the tears were only coming out of one eye, you know. And so they kept me in hospital for a while, doing some tests, running some tests on me, and they couldn't really figure out to see what was wrong. There was nothing wrong with me health-wise. Like, my organs were all functioning okay and everything. I think 3 days later I regained feeling on my body, on the left part of my body that I had lost feeling on, and they still kept me in the hospital, because they were like, we're not going to let you go, because like your mom explained that it's been like 3 times where this has happened and whatnot. So they changed. I'm a specialist. Like, I had quite a few specialists come through to see me, and a psychiatrist as well that came through. Now, with the psychiatrist that came through and the psychologist that came through, it was very weird for me, because I didn't want to, like they kept asking me, like, how's everything in your life? And if you know me, you know that I am a happy chappy, and I always from as young as I can remember, I always try to be as happy as I can be, and I spread positivity. So I'm like, oh, nothing's wrong, girl, you're wasting your time. And then, you know, I ended up giving some attitude as well. So they changed my psychologist, and then another lady comes through, and my psychiatrist. Another lady, the psychiatrist lady that comes through to me, she got me to actually open up, right? So it was a very lengthy process for me, because I first had to go through the phase of accepting and admitting that there is something wrong with me, and it's not ukuthi ngiyagula ngokomzimba. But when she explained it to me, she explained that because of how I always push things back, like things that upset me and things that don't make me happy or things that stress me out, umzimba wami then started taking a toll. Like it took a toll on my body itself, and that's why I would just collapse, because it was like suppressed, but subconsciously it was there, and it would drain the life out of me. So after we made that discovery, and I accepted that, okay, there might be something wrong, because at that time she referred to it as clinical depression. I accepted that, and then there was an on-site program they had at that hospital that I was in. It was a group of teenage girls. It was just 3 girls, and we'd attend this session, a group therapy session, for a week. And in that session, like those sessions, it's not what, like when I'm explaining it to you, I'm sure you're probably thinking, oh, it's just a group of girls, you know, with hoodies, like I don't want to live anymore. It's like I actually met the greatest people there. Like those 2 girls that I was with had the most amazing personalities, and it was just, you felt very comfortable. Like we talk about whatever we're going through, but the essence or the gist of the whole therapy session, being a group session, was the fact that they were giving us tips on how to cope and how to deal with things. So the first thing that I want us to actually take into consideration is that in life there are 2 things that would bother you: things that you have control over, and things that you don't have control over. The things that you do have control over, I always say this: change it. You know, just change it. Move out of that situation, do whatever you need to do to get out of that situation, just change it. And then the things that you don't have control over, those are the things that you need to find ways to cope around it, and ways to deal with it without you compromising yourself at the end of the day. So I learned a lot from those sessions, and I won't say Gapuma Sengi right, I was okay, because the situation that I was dealing with at the time was a situation that was beyond my control, obviously. So when I got out, I had like stacks and stacks of books, and things to do, like writing. Like if you're feeling some type of way, just write your feelings out and all of those things. And I really thought I was going to be like pashash, okay, and I was going to be able to deal, and I was going to be, you know, good. Then I had to go back to the real world. Now the real world for me was quite a fake world, because in that real world I had given people a persona, or I'd given people this thing of them thinking, like I don't go through things, like I'm just this happy person. And I had become like a crutch for people. Like, you know how even till this day people still be like, oh, if I have something that's going on, let me just go talk to Zama, and they forget to ask how Zama's doing, you know. So after that, I thought I was okay, but I guess I was not okay, because I then turned to substance abuse. And this was me now a year later. I think I was in, no, not a year, my first year in varsity, I guess. And I've noticed that a lot of us use alcohol as a coping mechanism. I mean, it's all good and dandy, like you're happy and you're good and you're in a great mood while you're drinking or while you're drunk, but the morning after you still have to face the music. And usually, and like when people, the morning after, people have actually created more problems for themselves. So I also turned to substance abuse. This was the first year of varsity. I used to drink like a fish. Like I would literally be like on some, I don't even need food. Like if I'm getting money for groceries and shit, I would literally just buy like pack of noodles and cereal, and that's what I'd lived on for the whole month. But uchwala, yo, I would stock up on the booze. I would be there. I was there. Used to drink quite a lot. luckily for me, I had a friend. My friend, we had been friends since grade 9 from high school. We went to the same varsity, so it was easier because I had somebody that I could talk to. Because sometimes I think that's another thing that is very challenging for me, speaking to people, because especially people like new people in my life, because I never want to burden people. I never want people to feel sorry for me. I think that is like one of my weaknesses. I never want umuntu ukuthi angidabukele, and I never want to come across as, oh, Nkosi yami bengane bakithi, oh, Nkosi yami, she's just going through the most, I wish I could help her. I never want that, you know. But yeah, so after that, right, I started reading more. Like, I even got myself a book, Psych 101, just for me to read and understand this more, and understand the different types of mental illnesses that come, and the signs and the symptoms, and how to deal with people. Like, I got to a point where I literally felt like I could psychoanalyze everyone, and when people would say things to me, I'd be like, oh, they don't mean that, they're just going through a lot, and it's just a monster living in them. And yeah, so we moved past the clinical depression. However, now, for the longest time, I suffer with anxiety disorder. And this anxiety thing, angikwazi nokuyichaza, like mengithi ngichazela umuntu, I never really know what to say, because I literally feel like ngizoyichaza kanjani lento ukuthi nginenkinga yokucabanga, because that's literally what it is. Like, nginenkinga yokucabanga, like ngicabanga kakhulu, like I overthink every single thing, literally every single thing. Like, it would be literally ABC, and for me, I'd be thinking, what is behind the A, what is behind the C, and I don't do it intentionally. I don't sit down and plan. I'm like, oh, like, it's never intentional. And it's been very, very hard for me to explain this to people, especially when it comes to my romantic relationships. I've been very lucky though, because usually I date people that are in the loop about these things, people that are open-minded. If they don't really know about it, they ask me about it, they do research about it, they understand that there are triggers, they understand that there are ways that they should deal with me. And then there are some people, like even with friends or acquaintances that I've made along the way, there are some people that just don't get it. They just don't get it. Because I remember right now, like I think I've been mentioning in the previous videos, hey guys, I'm going through the most. I'm going through a life-changing situation. I don't have control over that life-changing situation. And you know how when one thing goes left, it just seems like it needs to get and it piles up, and everything else in your life starts going left. So that's what's been happening with me. I had that one thing that I thought I needed to deal with and find a way to cope around it, and you know, and like just get used to it, and then something else popped up on top of that. And both of these things are things that I don't have control over. So my anxiety has been peaking to the point where I was at work just last month, and I found myself in a ball. Like, I went to the bathroom, and when I got to the bathroom, I found myself in a ball. Like, literally, I was like cringing and sitting like this on the floor, and I was crying. Like, I cried so much. And if somebody had walked in and been like, Ukarela, like, I wouldn't have been able to pinpoint and just give them one thing as to why I'm crying. I cried so much. And I'm always grateful because I have faith and I believe. I feel like having something that you believe in is also one way to cope with mental illnesses. Because at that particular moment, I'm so sorry, I'm getting emotional. Because at that particular moment, after I was shaking and I started crying, and at that particular moment I started praying as well. And when I prayed, I literally I don't even think it was me anymore that was praying, and I was on the floor, on the bathroom floor at work. I prayed, and I had my phone with me, and then I just went on YouTube. And when I got onto YouTube, guys, I literally searched how to deal with letting go sermon, because I wanted like somebody to preach to me. and Stephen Furtog's video was the first video that popped up on my YouTube. I'd never heard of him before. I don't even want to lie, I've never heard of him before, and I watched it, and that was ministering directly to me. Now if you guys don't feel like that's God, I don't know what you will think God is, but he ministered exactly to me, and he told me to let it go, and all of those. Oh, it was a beautiful sermon. So from that night, I literally every single time, like I follow this guy now on my socials, my Instagram. I have him on YouTube as well, and I watch his sermons. I listen to his worship music. They called Elevation Worship. It's Elevation Church, I think. Yeah. I listen to the Elevation music, and it's been very uplifting for me. So that's what I've been using to cope recently. I also have gone back to the old way of jotting things down. There's this thing that I read where you write 10 things that you're grateful for, and then 10 things that you want to change in your life. Some people do it on a daily basis. I've been doing it on a weekly basis, and I must say it's been working in my favor. Still do the affirmations as well, and yeah. So with that being said, guys, like I know that we brought up in different homes. I know that it's funny, but believe you me, literally 1 in every 4 people that you meet is suffering from some sort of mental illness. It could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be post-traumatic stress, it could be a bipolar disorder, it could be absolutely anything. And if we're not careful, we end up being triggers to these people, because of how we speak to them, or because of how we treat them, and it's unconsciously, you know. And with that being said, right, I also just want to share this with you guys, that it's okay to cut people off. Like, people and places can be triggers. People that have been in your life forever can be the reason why you're barely making it mentally, and it is okay for you to cut them off without even explaining yourself. Family, whenever I have conversations with people, I realize how much our families have actually damaged us. It may not be your immediate family, it could be your extended family, but our families have been the most, like, for most people, like, whenever a person tells you their life stories, it's always got to, like, the hurt usually comes from family. And I think it hurts so much more because those are the people that you usually lean on, and those are the people that you're usually hoping they'll have your back. But that's not how it's going lately. And it's okay to cut those people off, guys. Like, it's really okay to just wake up one morning and decide, no, I don't want to do this anymore, and just remove yourself from that situation. It's going to be difficult, trust me, it's going to be difficult. I made that decision last year. If, like, the people that know me know that I disappeared from the social streets for an entire year last year, because I wanted to just have a different view and a different perspective of this life thing, and just do life without having people watch me, right? When I disappeared, I had so much peace, because when I disappeared from social media, for me it meant that I disappeared from my family as well, my extended family, because I just live with my mom and my dad. And a peace, like, literally a peace, because at the back of my head, guys, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I knew that there were some parts of my life that in abantu were toxic, like from friends to umdeni. So I think that's why I initially made the decision, it's okay, manje, I'm just gonna disappear and just try and do this life thing on my own. Well, not really on my own, with my parents. And it worked out perfectly for me. And I came back and I gave people second chances. That's the guy, so I gave people second chances, and I was hurt again. And I had to make the decision of completely cutting people off. And I don't even want to lie, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, like, even like at work, I'll tell people, I'm like, the hardest thing is when you love someone and you know that you can't have this person in your life anymore because this person doesn't love you as much as you love them, and you're just tired of giving and you're just tired of trying, and you have to let go. Guys, I think that is like the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. And so yeah, like, don't be afraid to cut people off. Oh shit. And another thing, when it comes to my romantic relationships, guys, romantic relationships, your partner and your friends, those are the only two things in life that you get to pick. Like, literally, those are the only, you can't pick your colleagues, you can pick only abangan bako and your romantic partner. But I don't know whether it's because of our past traumas. I've noticed that we drawn, like for me, for instance, like I mentioned in my first video, like I am a healer and I am the fixer. Like, I literally I'm attracted to people where I feel like I can heal them, or I feel like I can fix them, or I feel like I can help them. And at the end of the day, that is only hurting myself, because those people have nothing to offer me. And that's based on my past traumas, and that's because of my inner child. There are certain things that my inner child hasn't dealt with. There are certain things that come from my past, and it's something that I'm really working on and trying so hard. But my romantic partners, guys, ayikho into ebaleke njengokuthi ube nomuntu empilweni yakho that will be there for you, a person that will understand you, a person that will know exactly what you need. There's not a single time in the world where you expressing your feelings should end in an argument. Never ever. You can't be with a person, or like for me right now, like literally, I remember, like if you had asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't have like mentioned this as one of my Twan, what do you look for in a guy? Like, I would have mentioned this. But now, like, the first thing and the most important thing for me is emotional intelligence. If a person does not have emotional intelligence, they are not stable emotionally. I don't even need you to be stable. Just have emotional intelligence. That way you'll be able to work with me, and I'll be able to work with you, and we'll be able to get a common understanding. Emotional intelligence, being there for your partner, emotional support. Guys, umuntu engaba nama-million, but if they do not have emotional intelligence and emotional support, it is going to be a very rocky and toxic relationship. And your friends as well. I hate how we like, I know she's not my real friend, she's a fake friend, but you carry on hanging with this person. Why? Just exit and not return. Do not return. Do not even open the door. Don't even leave a door for them to be able to open the door and come back. It's gone. It's over. Leave those people. As soon as a person gives you signs, Lomuntu does not have my best interest at heart. Lomuntu doesn't care about me. And if you feel like you are the giver in a particular friendship, guys, it's really not worth it. It's really, really not worth it. I think I've gone way over what I thought I was going to do. I literally thought it was going to be a 15-minute video. I haven't even referred to the notes that I had on my phone. But I genuinely hope that you guys get the gist of today's episode. Can we just be kinder to each other? And I'm hoping that we're going to be a bit more open-minded when it comes to everything, when it comes to abantu that we are dealing with. And we understand that people come from different backgrounds, and people have different ways of dealing with things and showing emotions for things, and we're just going to be kinder to each other, because we genuinely need that as a country. We need that as youth. We need that for us to be able to survive this very difficult world. Yeah, so I'm not going to carry on. Thank you very much. If you've gotten to the last part of this episode, thank you so much. Probably going to come back and share my most recent story as to why or how I even got to the bathroom floor cringing. I'm just hoping that I find the courage to do that. And yeah, love and like, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode, and I'll be seeing you guys pretty soon again.